didn't waste any time kicking off our travels this year. And if we were traveling, we were using points to bring down the cost. We flew using points, $11.20 each, round trip. We spent 6 nights at hotels using points, a free night award, and $110. What should have cost us $6,990 cost us only $143.60. Our points didn't make our trip free, but damn! And you can do this too. Hit the subscribe button so you can learn how to take your family farther for less. As I tell you about our trip, I'm going to share the steps I took to save nearly $7,000. So, who went? Where'd we go? How did we get there? Where'd we stay? And most importantly, how the hell did we save over $6,800? On New Year's Eve, my sons and I boarded a plane to Salt Lake City. Because when you live in sunny South Florida, what else do you do in December besides leave the warm weather for 18-degree Utah? We flew from Fort Lauderdale to Salt Lake City on Delta. Each seat was priced at $511. We only paid $11.20 each though, and a little less than 40,000 points. That works out to 1.3 cents per point. Now admittedly, this was not a top-notch redemption, but it was slightly better than the 1.2 cents Sky Miles are generally pegged at. But the best part of this redemption is that when you use native Delta Sky Miles, we didn't transfer any MR points to make these flights happen. And here's how we got our Sky Miles. So back in June, I opened the Delta Gold business card, and Nicole actually had the Delta Gold card already. We combined our points. So I used my sign-up bonus, and Nicole still had some miles remaining from her sign-up bonus, and we combined to make those reservations. But we actually made 2 reservations. I booked 2 flights using my miles, and Nicole booked 1 using hers. Delta charges a fee to transfer points from one member to another, and there was really no reason to pay that. While we landed in Salt Lake City, we didn't stay there. We hopped in a car and drove to Park City. This was a ski trip. And that first night, we stayed at the Hyatt Place Park City. Winter holiday time in Park City is right in the middle of peak season. The rate on New Year's Eve at the Hyatt Place was $620. Now, one of the best parts about Hyatt is that they use a published rewards chart. There is peak and off-peak pricing, but that's only plus or minus 3,000 points. This Hyatt Place happens to be a Category 4 hotel, and peak cost for a Category 4 Hyatt is 18,000 points. That comes to a cent per point value of 3.4, much better than our flights. Except we didn't do that. But we didn't pay the cash rate either. I had opened the World of Hyatt card. As I talked about in this video, I earned a free night award when I completed the full welcome offer. And that's what we used. Yeah, we got more than $600 of value out of a Category 1 through 4 free night award. That is a win. We only stayed there 1 night though, because we were actually skiing in Deer Valley. The morning of the 1st, we drove over to the brand new Grand Hyatt Deer Valley, valeted the car, dropped our bags at bell service, and hit the slopes. We were there for 4 nights, and thanks to a late checkout on our last day, we hit the slopes for 5 days in a row. Not bad for some Floridians. For those 4 nights, the Grand Hyatt averaged $1,217.85. As a Category 6 hotel, the Grand Hyatt took more points than the Hyatt Place did to stay there, 29,000 points per night. While that's a lot of Hyatt points per night, the cash price still made it worthwhile. The cent per point for the Grand Hyatt worked out to a fantastic 4.2. When we were done on the slopes, we drove back to Salt Lake City. We still had 1 more night before we caught a red-eye back to Fort Lauderdale. For this, we just booked a night at the Hyatt Place Salt Lake City Airport, and we did something I've only done once before. We paid cash for our Hyatt hotel. No, it wasn't that we blew all our points on the Grand Hyatt. The cash price for the airport Hyatt Place came to $110. But the points price was $12,000. And that works out to only 0.9 cents per point. The low cash price combined with the low cent per point value made this an easy choice. We relaxed in Salt Lake City for the day and then boarded our flight back to sunny Fort Lauderdale. It was a fantastic 7-day trip. So this is how we got all of our Hyatt points. Now, like I said, I opened the World of Hyatt credit card, meaning that sign-up bonus netted us 60,000 Hyatt points and a free night award. But that alone wasn't enough. The rest of the points we earned weren't Hyatt points at all. They were Chase UR points. Over the last couple of years, Nicole and I have combined to open 8 different Chase cards that earn ultimate rewards points. Since we live in the same household, Chase allows us to combine our points. That's one of the perks of two-player mode that I talk about here. Of those 8 cards, the one that mattered the most for our Hyatt stay was the Sapphire Preferred. The Sapphire Preferred is one of 3 chase cards that allows you to transfer your UR points to travel partners, including World of Hyatt. And that's where we got the rest of our Hyatt points. The Sapphire Preferred is a key part of the chase trifecta, which I discuss in depth in this video. To make this trip happen, we used 116,000 Hyatt points, 1 free night award, and 119,850 Delta Sky Miles. Our out-of-pocket expenses for our 3 round-trip flights and 6 nights of hotel stays came to a grand total of $143.60. If you put all those points together and calculate the cent per point redemption value we achieved on this trip, it comes to 2.9 cents per point. That's not the cleanest calculation. We used a free night award for one night and paid cash for another, so that kind of skews the numbers, but it is a straightforward way to calculate it. Besides, the bottom line was that we used all those points instead of paying $6,800. Forget about cent per point for a minute. Which would you rather have spent? This was a great redemption for us. It was a great trip, but we also received more value than flights and hotels. By holding the Delta Business Gold Card, I was able to check 2 bags for free. On a round-trip basis, that saved another $120 on our flight. And then my globalist status with Hyatt also added additional value to our stay. Remember, this was a points redemption. When globalists stay on points, parking is included, even valet parking. Now, parking at the Hyatt Place hotels is already free, but the Grand Hyatt charged $50 a night. That's $200 of value there. The Hyatt Place Park City charged $11 a person for breakfast, which was really unusual for a Hyatt Place. The breakfast buffet at the Grand Hyatt, which was much better than the one at the Hyatt Place, was $34 for adults and $18 for children. The breakfast in Salt Lake City was included with the room. But as a globalist, every breakfast was covered. And at the Grand Hyatt, the tip was covered too. Globalists are also able to secure a late checkout up to 4 o'clock based upon availability. When I called the front desk, I was able to lock down a late checkout at the Grand Hyatt. This made skiing on that last day much easier and really made that day a lot more enjoyable. Altogether, my globalist benefits added nearly another $600 of value, plus that late checkout. There was one more perk to being a globalist, and I actually did this months before we checked in. I booked this reservation without having the points in my account. This is called a points advance reservation. I had to call the Hyatt Globalist number, yes, there's a Hyatt Globalist number, and make the reservation with a live agent. As long as I had the points in my account 7 days prior to the arrival date, my reservation would be valid. There isn't a better hotel status than Hyatt Globalist. Let's take a moment to talk about the Grand Hyatt Deer Valley. This is a brand new hotel, and when we stayed there, it had been open like 3 weeks. The property was flawless. We had booked a basic room with 2 queen beds. It had a large bathroom, a wet bar, a very large coat closet for luggage and ski gear, and there was still plenty of room to feel comfortable in the sleeping area. The lobby area, game room, hot tubs, and restaurant were all fabulous. And of course, this is a ski resort, so we have to discuss their ski services too. And first off, they had the nicest ski locker area I've ever been in, and it was complimentary. They do partner with Ski Butlers, which is a ski rental service that comes to you and fits your skis at the hotel. However, I found it to be twice expensive as the Adventure House, which was only a 3-minute drive from the hotel. And this brings us to a new segment called Ryan is a Whiny Bitch. They are aiming for a ski-in, ski-out experience. They've come close. Maybe I was spoiled by my last trip to Park City, where I walked out the lobby door and stepped into the gondola. This is much, much better than having to load up, drive over, park, put on your gear, walk over, step onto the gondola. But the gondola isn't right outside. It is a walkable distance uphill, or there's a tram that will take you. And that will end our new segment called Ryan is a Whiny Little Bitch. Overall, our experience at the Grand Hyatt Deer Valley was really good. The only true negative is that it is the cornerstone of this new section called Deer Valley East Village. And right now, it is the only thing at the Deer Valley East Village. And there's construction going on all over. Now, construction noise never bothered us, but it was an eyesore. And more impactful than the ongoing construction was everything else that wasn't built. There's nothing there. The hotel is there, but that's it. When we were tired from skiing all day, we had to leave and go somewhere for dinner. Now, of course, we could have eaten at the restaurant at the Grand Hyatt, but I didn't work hard to save $7 grand on this trip to blow it on my kids having $150 porterhouse steaks each night. and I'm sure it would have been a delicious steak. Apparently the previous segment wasn't over yet. Once the construction is done, the overall experience will be much better. I expect this property will move up from a category 6 to a 7 or probably an 8. Now, over in Park City, the Hyatt Centric is already a category 8. If you'd like to hear more about the Grand Hyatt Deer Valley, let me know in the comments below. If there's interest, I can put out a video that's more of a hotel review. Otherwise, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I know how much you value your time because I know how much I value mine. Thank you for spending some of yours with me. I appreciate each of you. To hear more about how you could be earning points and miles this year, check out this video next. Until next time, safe travels.